Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Corey, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. Today, we're going to be trying to tackle an important part when it comes to seduction. I think every time when I talk to guys about being in a sexless relationship and how they've contributed to the sexless relationship, they always say, how is that so when I'm courteous? How is it so when I'm kind? I feel like I'm romantic and I do everything right. And this was a conversation I was having with somebody recently, and I mean, his physique is incredible because we're talking, and then you're saying he works out, and this guy is competed in these IBF pro things, bodybuilding things. So he's got an incredible physique, and this is sort of just sort of demolishes the thought that maybe I'm not attractive enough, because this is a guy who most guys would wish to have his body, and he finds himself in a sexless relationship. So again, it proves my point when I was saying that changing your body in order to get to transform your sexless relationship isn't the way of going forward. What you need to do is actually figure out what's the key driver to why you behave certain ways and why you are in that sort of situation. So, what causes you to be in that situation is a key driver into the way you behave, the way you communicate, the way you relate within the relationship. And a lot of that comes from shame. And shame becomes this key driver to how you behave. Even when the arguments are happening, when there's conflict, because you are harboring some sort of shame, whether it be from childhood, whether it be from previous relationships, when you harbor that, it really starts forcing you to behave in certain ways. And especially, it's almost like behaving from a place of defense. You want to do certain things, and really, let me backtrack a little bit. Shame is the fear of losing connection, and I heard this from a doctor called Dr. Brene, an amazing lady who talks about a lot about vulnerability, and she gave this amazing definition, and she said shame is the fear of losing connection. So if you imagine that when you are operating out of a place of fear, this is what then puts, and again, it comes back to what we were talking about yesterday, ends up putting pressure, because you are afraid of losing somebody or losing connection. You lean in, and the moment you lean in, you're pushing the other person out. And this is a very important thing, because this is when it comes down to when I was talking about yesterday, that when you're doing chores, if you're doing it to impress the other person, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't translate into seduction. If you are giving extravagant gifts, if you're having weekends getaways, all these things are amazing things to do, but they're all amazing if you're coming from a place of feeling solid and feeling good about yourself and being solid about the way you are as a person. So this is a very, very important bit, and I'm saying this before the weekend because I would like you to go and start thinking about this. Then what is it that I'm afraid of? Like a lot of us, we've had parents that split. My mom and dad divorced when I was 6. So there was some issues I had to deal with in terms of abandonment issues. And there were times when I went to boarding school because my mom couldn't look after us in work. And so we ended up going to boarding school with my brother. And there was a level of, maybe I don't feel appreciated, I don't feel loved. That's why I've been shipped off to the boarding school. And this is just a child's way of dealing with this and thinking of things. And I was wrong. Obviously, my mom loves me and she cares about me. But that loss of connection is something that ingrained something within me. And I've seen this affect many times of my relationships. And again, when you are within that operating of that base of shame, it also becomes this contributing factor on how you choose a partner. And some of us have chosen horrible partners based off of how we feel about shame. So, and I think some guys have come into the case study group, and the one thing that we've done in terms of training is really put things into perspective. I've never once say to them, we're going to do this, and I can guarantee you that this is going to, you're going to be having loads of sex and your marriage is going to transform. I'm giving you the tools for you to be able to do it. But at the end of the day, you're dealing with somebody else on the other side. They might be dealing with some shame that is so destructive and so toxic that you're probably better off not being in that relationship. And I've stated this a lot of times, that I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you to see yourself as a leader. I'm going to help you to have the tools to be able to be a seductive partner, one that she craves and somebody who she finds irresistible. But at the end of the day, you might actually grow to the point where you actually realize that this relationship isn't good for you. And one of the reasons why you'll be able to see this is that if that person is not willing to let go of their shame, you will be in this cycle of this cycle where you fixed yourself, but you're now having to battle this person who's not willing to deal with their shame. And it's a hard thing to say, and most of you guys might disqualify me after saying that, but I think it has to be said that the only thing I can do is build you and get you to the point where you can see yourself as this incredible human being that you are, and see yourself as a leader and see yourself as somebody who's on a mission to do amazing things for your children, for your family. And if I can get you to start moving towards your mission, one of the key things for you to be able to go and achieve it is letting go of shame. Because it's going to mean that you're going to be operating outside your comfort zone. You're going to be putting yourself out there where people will be might want to criticize you. You have to be able to deal with certain things, especially when you become a leader. Those are the things that you're going to be willing to do, is that make decisions that might make you look stupid initially, but because you're using strategic thinking, eventually initially it will look like a bad idea, but in the long term it will be a brilliant piece of leadership. And you have to be prepared to put yourself out there, so that when you look stupid, there's that fear of just loss of connection. Therefore, that shame sort of holds you back from making decisions, holds you back from saying what you need to say, holds you back from actually moving the way you're supposed to be moving. So this is a very powerful thing. Now, I want you to think about this as you go into the weekend, and think about how is that affecting your relationship? How is that affecting the way you operate as a person in society, as a dad? I mean, when your child comes to you and they're trying to have a conversation. So the other day, my child came over and said, "Oh, this boy said he's taller than me, but he's clearly shorter than me." And we were battling about it. And I said, "Yeah, it's cool." And then I then turned around and I said to her, "At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. There's nothing that you can do to change your height." And it's the wrong focus, because the moment you feel that your height makes you inadequate, generally, if I'd say to her, if I supported the argument of, you need to be taller, or because this is what most parents do, they sort of allow that sort of harboring of the thoughts. And it's a bad example. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying to think of an example that how we actually foster shame within our children as well. So even how you interact with the children is very important. And if you are operating from a place of shame, you pass it on to your children. And this is, I think, the most powerful bit, because it becomes this really horrible cycle. Like, for instance, if she said, "Nobody wants to talk to me," I then go and say, "Well, what did you do?" For instance. And then it almost makes it seem like it's her fault. But again, this could be another kid who's got a lot of shame, who's trying to really make things awkward for her. So again, we do things, and we do things within our relationships. And if we start really taking audit, or at least auditing how we behave and how we do things, and seeing which place it's coming from, and the real place that we're supposed to come from is a place of love, is a place of you being sure of yourself and being authentic on who you are. And this is one of the things that we talk about within our program. And again, if you want to join the case study group, go to our Instagram and type in case study. And really dealing with this is one of the key things that will change your relationship, but not just your relationship, the way you view life and become a leader. Now, I always say, you can become a leader and you can be impacting your community, and then you say, why is that important? I'm just one to be focused on myself. But I think that's the key, that when you can be that leader that is not just a leader inside the house, but leader on the outside, this is the byproduct of that is your partner finding you absolutely irresistible. And this is why it's important. And you don't have to be leading thousands and thousands of people, but you should be able to increase your status, increase the way you move, the things that you do, the missions that you're going for, the things that you're passionate about. And this is what makes the difference. And this is why we start helping you to actually see that in yourself and be able to let go of shame. So come and join our case study. It's free, completely free, like I said, and it's already changing some of the guys that are within the program. Hopefully I can convince them to come onto the podcast, and maybe we can have a conversation about what's happening within the program. So maybe you can have an idea, not hear it from me, but hear how it's impacted their lives. So it helps to make a decision. So thank you very much for listening. Again, go to the Instagram, and it's Thriving Tribesman, and give us a follow if you don't want to message, but at least you can be able to get some more trainings over there. So thank you very much. I'll be seeing you soon. Take care.